Now, Ruach has over 5,000 members, and you guys are just bursting at the seams. But can you tell us a little bit about the early years of Ruach?
Well, we started with just 18 people, and within 3 months, I had 150 people. Now, that was strange because I used to pastor my father's church, which the membership was 150 people, which we had over the years. And in 3 months, I had equally as much as the last church. Now, the reason why God did that, because when I started Ruach Ministries, a lot of people thought, you know, it's not of God, it's not going to grow. So the Lord made that happen to prove to them that his hands was on it. And then we moved from another place and we just kept growing and growing. Then we bought the building we presently have, which is 1,400 seater building. And the first service I had, it was full downstairs. I'm like, where do these people come from? And secondly, we moved and we opened up the balcony, that became full. We had morning service and evening service, and then that full. And then I started another service, and then that got full. And then I started another service, got full. And then now we've ended up with 5 services, and we're not doing it because we're trying to have, you know, multiple services. We genuinely need these services because of the crowd, and I'm still losing people. But the Lord's been good to us. We just bought one of the largest theaters in the whole of Europe. An incredible building that seats 4,000 people plus. The building is what we call an English heritage building, what we call a historical building, where people like the Beatles did their last album there, the Rolling Stones were there. I've got authentic signatures of people like Laurel and Hardy's parents, it's an incredible building, and we're getting ready to move into that building at the end of the year, 2008. So we're excited. So what we're going to do we're going to have, because of the growth of the church, we're going to have one church in 2 locations. So I'm going to be, some of the people are not going to move to the next location. So we're going to have church there, and then we're going to have church at this big place which seats 4,000 plus. And when I say 4,000 plus, that's the seating. Other people say it looks like an 8,000 seater, but it is 4,000 seater. And it's an incredible building, and I'm just so honored that God would entrust that building in our hands.
Amazing. It sounds like so many great things are happening with Ruach Ministries in London. And so my question to you is, what's next for Ruach? You just told us that you're going into this building, but I heard an interview where you were talking about starting an educational institution. Yes. Is this like a seminary, or is this for children?
Well, one of the things we found out in England is that most of the schools that do well are the faith-based schools. And I've got this passion right now. There's a lot of our young people who's being messed up by society. Their expressions are different. Their cultures are different, and sometimes the school does not know how to educate them, does not know how to help them. So one of the things I want to do is set up what we call a faith-based school, educational school, where I take kids who are talented and children who are not talented too, and give them the environment where they can learn. And I want to educate them and be able to do scholarships and all kinds of things, because I think that in our country, especially in England, a lot of our black kids are losing out, and they're not being educated, and they're getting into gangs and into the knife and the gang culture. And I think if I can begin to pull some of them out and educate them, because the challenge is, you know, most of them are saying, you know, we want to try and help these young guys, but we need to get them from when they're young, and it's all about education and empowering them, and to actually give them a vision. And also, one of the things I want to do, because also when you can educate some young people, but the great thing to do is put them alongside mentors, where we'll be able to have someone who they will be able to mentor them and channel all that energy, because that's what some of them, the reason why they're in gangs and they're doing drugs is because they're really entrepreneurs that don't know where to channel all their energy.
Well, I wanted to get more of a global perspective from you. And listen, I just want to ask you, where do you think the church is going from here? Where do you think we're going as a global church, not just Ruach Ministries, but as a whole? Do you see more unchurched people coming in to the church and filling the pews? What's happening with us?
I think right now, one of the things that's happening is that the church is becoming more, I really feel the conferences that we've had a whole lot of conferences over the years and great big meetings. But I think the conferences that's going to happen are going to be changed now. They're going to be more empowering conferences. It's going to be more going back to the basics, because people are tired now of what we've been having church as usual. And I think the churches now are going to be their own conference. We're going to see the vision be more external rather than trying to bring in great preachers. I think pastors and the leaders are now going to have proper mandates, are going to be clear about what God's saying, because people are coming to our churches and we can't just, just do the same old thing. We have to empower them. We've got to talk to them. We've got to speak into their life. So I think what's happening globally now is that there's a new move of God that's happening, that people who are coming from the Islamic background, the Hindu, the Buddhist background, those who've been on the streets now, who knows the games. You can't play games with them because they know it. They're coming into the church and they're looking for the authentic, real stuff. And what's going to happen now, those who do not have the real thing are not going to last in this season. But those who have the real thing will survive, and they will be able to fulfill the mandate of Jesus Christ. That's what I believe is going to happen.
Amen, Bishop. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Well, this has been the latest edition of Living Wisely, and I'm your host, Alegra Hassan. I'm so glad that you were able to join us for an incredible conversation with none other than Bishop John Francis from London. I'm so glad you were here with us. I hope you'll join us again for more of Living Wisely.